Good afternoon, everyone. Cassie from Lake Life Realty for my Sunday Live. I hope everyone has had a good weekend so far. I wanted to talk to you about something today that garners a lot of confusion in this market right now, and what that means if you're a seller and what that means if you're a buyer. And that's the appraisal gap or the appraisal waiver, whatever you want to call it. So when you're buying a house and you're getting financing, one of the last and final steps to the process is getting an appraisal. So an appraiser will typically visit the house, take notes on the square footage, the condition, updates, and compare those to similar like properties that have recently sold in the area, and then come up with a value. So in a perfect world, the price you offered for the property will be the appraised value, or if you're lucky, it will be more than. So, if you're a buyer, I think when some people first hear the words appraisal gap or waiver, they think, oh, my bank won't do that, or what say you? And while there are such things as appraisal waivers from the bank, that most often happens when a buyer can put a lot of money down, say 50%. There's, of course, other conditions to that, such as the type of property and other factors that influence that decision. But it's always good to talk to your local bank or your loan officer to see if that's an option. Because if you see a house and you want to be able to make an attractive offer to the seller, your bank might be able to run it through the underwriting process for you if it's within a time frame that they can do that. And see if that can be done. However, traditionally an appraisal gap is something that is written into an offer. So this is telling your seller that you will pay a certain difference versus the appraised value and the contract price in the event that that appraisal does come in lower. Right now in this market, what's driving these prices up is a combination of the low inventory and the high demand. There's a lot of cash in this market, and buyers are getting frustrated because they feel like they can't compete if they're getting financing, which isn't necessarily the case. Because with cash, there is no appraisal process involved. Sellers oftentimes feel more comfortable moving forward with an all-cash offer, sometimes if it's even lower than other offers. But the way that buyers are competing when they do have financing is by either waiving the appraisal completely. And when I say that, I'm saying you're telling the seller, hey, if I'm offering $350,000 and the bank says it's only worth $300,000, I'll pay that $50,000 difference, or whatever difference that is. But you can also say, okay, seller, I'm willing to pay $20,000 or whatever that number you're comfortable with, between the appraised value and the contract price. And after that, it's a negotiation between the two if there is a higher dollar amount discrepancy. If you're a seller, this is something also to take into consideration. For example, if you have multiple offers, but they're all financing, you don't have any option for a cash offer, but they're all well above the asking price, and you're a little nervous about the appraisal, it would be smart to go back to all the buyers and say, is there any difference you're willing to pay, if something like that hasn't been written to the offer already. And it'll give that seller the peace of mind that there's ultimately a number that they'll walk away with. That is, if the agent, priced the house appropriately and it's not a drastic difference. As agents, we're always trying to get the sellers the most money for their house and our buyers the best deal. But also be realistic and make a good financial decision moving forward. But this is something that's so important to explain to both buyers and sellers right now, because it's happening every day and it's a reality of this tough market, and a lot of buyers and sellers don't understand this. And it can be frustrating. So, I think if you have very specific questions about the appraisal process, your bank would be the best resource to ask. But we can always answer any questions you think you have and get you the answers. So I hope everybody has a good Sunday, and take care.